This conspiracy of silence that holds the key to Warren Anderson getting away and happily living in America for the last 26 years, Indian agencies have not been able to get to him. The Indian government has come out and officially debunked B.R. Lal, said that no such letter was written. So who is lying? The CBI supervising officer at that time, B.R. Lal, of the government of India. And why is there such a conspiracy of silence? B.R. Lal is currently with us, as also Dr. Kiran Bedi, one of India's leading IPS officers, former CBI Director Joginder Singh, and M.J. Akbar, one of India's top political commentators, is with us, and he was very active at that time, Mr. Akbar. If there's anyone who knows the answer to that question, you would be amongst the handful of people who'd know that answer. Why is there such a mystery about who made that call? The call that led to Warren Anderson being flown in a special plane to Delhi from Bhopal, completely unprecedented, and a call that holds the answer to the grief of 6 lakh people who are still suffering to today.
The answer is very simple. Somebody more important than Arjun Singh. But who exactly it is, you know, it's Mr. Arjun Singh, who is still alive, who is very much, in good health, and may God give him long, long life. I like him, he's, and he knows who made the call. No one else actually knows who made the call. But it requires somebody who was truly important to actually have made the call. Otherwise, a state, forget the releasing of Warren, whatever his name is, Mr. Anderson. Why would the state government give its own plane? And by the way, in 1984, state planes were not, fairly common. Today, every state has a plane. Everyone has a plane. Yes. In 1984, it was a very rare occasion. I mean, you don't really understand, Rahul, and I can't really explain to you the shock that we all felt as journalists, as wherever we were in 1984, when the news trickled out and we saw those pictures. It cannot leave you. It's part of your nightmares till today. And when I said it's collusion, it is not just collusion. This is a class thing. This is the only instance that I can remember where it's not a caste or a communal thing. This is a class thing. 20,000 poor people died and nobody cared a damn. If 20,000 politicians had died, Warren Anderson would still be in India.
Well, if 2 politicians had died, Warren Anderson would be in India. Dr. Bedi, I want to know your thoughts on this. A lot of people in Delhi know who made that call. Nobody seems to be prepared to come out. M.J. Akbar in one of our shows called this the conspiracy of silence. It seems that there is another conspiracy of silence. Everybody knows the answer. Nobody wants to come out and reveal that name so that an investigation can be carried out, so that 20,000 poor people who died will at some level get a sense of closure.
Well, you may never know this. Why would you know it? Because it suits the people to keep it silent. Why would somebody expose? But the point is, listen, calls can be there. Calls have been there. But why should the call be respected? The point is, who did the call go to?
Arjun Singh.
No. Who did the call pass on from Arjun Singh to? To a bureaucrat or a police officer. Why should we, if we are trained to uphold the law, if you're trained to uphold the law, well, that's what a politician would do. Pass on the call. Fine, I understand. He may have his political compulsions. But what about sworn police officers, sworn bureaucrats, trained to uphold professional conduct? He had the courage, if he had the courage to say, you may call me, but sir, that's the law. I'm upholding the law, I cannot let him go. And then the worst come to worst is that the person could have been asked to get away from the scene and somebody else. But at least he won't have said after so many years to say, so much pressure came on me and I had to do it.
Okay.
Well, there was nothing which compelled him to do it.
You're making an important point.